Hey everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I just got back from seeing Alien Romulus. This is the 7th feature film in the Alien franchise, not counting any of the times that the alien has V'd the peas. And this time around, it's being directed by one Fede Alvarez, who's had some pretty interesting career. This isn't his first time in doing any franchise work, because he came out swinging with back in 2013 with a Evil Dead remake. While overall probably the weakest movie in the Evil Dead franchise, still pretty damn entertaining in its own right. Definitely delivers some fun performances, some really entertaining horror sequences, and absolutely delivered on the blood. You got a lot of the good gore shit in that movie. And he's also known for his Don't Breathe movies, which really showcase his affinity for creating effective suspense sequences. So, between those two, it kind of doesn't surprise me that he got attached to do an Alien project. And honestly, all the better for it. I think his strengths as a filmmaker in the reliance on practical mechanical effects and the gore effects, all lead to he's a good fit for this franchise. And as much as I enjoyed Alien Covenant and the more dark nihilistic look at creation and stuff, the better stuff that we were promised with Prometheus, and not the stupid stuff we got from Prometheus. I think it makes sense that we got the franchise got a little bit of a juice, got a bit of a back to basics thing going on. With this one, but I would say, and it is doing a bit of its own theme more often than it isn't. What we have here is a group of Weyland-Yutani grunts. This movie really does double and triple down on the overall just megacorp fuckery that Weyland-Yutani is. Weyland-Yutani sucks. It sucks to work for. But there are these grunts that are they're stuck in a mining colony, and they're and they find a ship that has some cryopods that they can move, that they can get up there and move to a new colony that is terraformed and all that. And we're mainly following a woman, Rain, played by Spaeny, who plays our Ellen Ripley stand-in this time around. And I thought she was quite good in this. I still haven't seen Priscilla yet, but I thought she was quite good in Civil War earlier this year. And also with her is Andy, who is it's not really a spoiler, but he is the android of this iteration, and he's played by David Jonsson. Honestly, I thought he was absolutely the standout here. He plays a very difficult performance, given what happens with him in the plot. And he's sort of stuck between. He sort of introduces this more meekish and helpful. He almost feels like a sort of a how do I say this? He almost kind of comes off as a special need, almost like a special needs adult. But he's and it kind of works because he's one of the older models of these androids, and in fact, it was even implied that his model, the Andy model, was basically the backbone for the terraforming. The terraforming when Weyland-Yutani was doing space colony stuff, and a lot of heavy implications there, given David Jonsson's casting. But I thought honestly he really impressed me in the way that he sort of is able to shift and move his body language. It isn't quite I think it's a sort of a unique spin with between like what Fassbender was doing in like Covenant, and even what Ian Holm and Lance Henriksen were doing in the earlier Alien movies, and they're really that's really interesting, and all the stuff when it's like it's these grunts, it's these like when it's just kind of doing its own thing. That's when the movie is at its best, and there's a lot of positives there. It looks pretty good. The gore and the practical effects. There's a real sense of tactility to it, and it's really slimy and goopy. You'll get some fun out of that, and there's also some like really interesting spins and situations that it plays around with in terms of like in terms of being in the Alien universe. Like there's a really cool sequence with zero gravity and the alien acid blood, and it's pretty effective. There's even a scene where like where it just kind of turns into Don't Breathe for like 5 minutes. That I thought was pretty fun. But when this movie kind of stops being its own thing and then starts being a legacy sequel to Alien, that's when it stops being fun. That's when it kind of starts bogging down with which is kind of it feel now parts feel more like less like a they feel kind of checklisty. Like I don't want to say who it is, but they do bring a character back. I don't want to say who, but and the effect on the character is not great. And but when we first see this character, it's like, ooh, this is interesting. But then they keep showing who this character, and they stick around, and it feels, oh, I see. Because when I was going in, I saw some initial reactions comparing it to Rogue One, and I thought, oh, I don't know, maybe they mean that more in a positive. No, it's kind of more in the negative sense, because I would say more than Rogue One. This movie does a lot of say the line Bart, where it has a lot of like visual callbacks, sometimes more overt, with like it's some overt and in your face with like this with this character that they bring back, and it just kind of lingers there in parts like that. Or there's there's like a visual. Sometimes it's a visual callback where like, oh, this is sort of like this like you like showing how this gun works is exactly like is almost word for word what happens in Aliens. Or they literally, or like more often than not, they like just flat out again, they say the line Bart, where like or they'll say like obvious one, it's they say get away from her, and like, you bitch. Like, if it was just you get away from her, like, okay, we would finish the line ourselves. Or if the line was like more built up, maybe that would be better. But it really can't help itself. It really, like, and the times that it just can't help itself and feels the need to constantly remind us that we're watching an alien movie, not our own alien movie, that's when that's when Romulus is just so bothersome, and it really does kind of hamper my enjoyment of it, because it keeps doing this. Like even like right towards the end, they did like the a similar dissolve, like a visual dissolve, like James Cameron did in Aliens, and it's like they snuck it right before the end credits, and it's just like, you just can't help it. It seriously can't help itself. And I don't know if all of these were like just like they were told to play the greatest hits, or if Alvarez was just just so enthusiastic. Where I feel like sometimes if you're like a fan of something, if you're a fan of a franchise, you get to work in the franchise. There was sort of this sort of innate desire to just kind of like you know, do the thing we all know, we're all familiar with, and like just hoping that gets a rise. You know, like it's like playing a cover of a, like playing a Beatles song, but instead of just like covering, like doing your own twist on a Beatles song, it's just like you do it note for you do some of it note for note, and that's when it's less fun. But then it kind of swings back and forth of like it'll have some like moment between Rain and Spaeny and Jonsson, and even some of the more like the others on this small crew where they're mostly red shirts. Like, come on, we know what movie we're watching, and so so sometimes it'd be like, oh, this is really cool. Cool. Oh, what about this? Oh, I don't know. But then like, so it's a lot of like, oh, this is fun, and then it's not fun. Oh, it's cool again. Ooh, I don't know about that. Oh, it's kind of saving me. But honestly, I was kind of my enjoyment of it was kind of like whittling down right around right as we got closer to the end. But then it sort of hit that fourth act that is basically a series staple by now, and then it does some really something that's like kind of wacky, like this could be kind of cool. I don't know. But then like we see the thing that they're doing with it. I don't want to give it away. We see the thing that they're doing with it, and it's like ooh, that's creepy. Oh, this is creepy, and I kind of love it. You're kind of bringing me back again, and like it also has a really good jump scare, a really effective jump scare right near the end, and so I don't want to give away what it does, but it kind of did. It kind of was like oh, okay, you really made me like you really like let the good final impression, I would say. Hey, but yeah, I think on the whole, Romulus it's fine. It's best when it is just doing its own thing. Like I said before, when it is being like a legacy sequel, when it is like constantly, and I mean constantly, reminding us that this is an Alien movie. This is set in the Alien universe. There's like, greater world building plot shenanigans happening, and that's when it really hinders. That's when it like really like feels like a cheaper. It feels like a cheaper experience, because it just feels like I'm getting. It's just that legacy sequel stuff where like it feels like your constant need to remind me of the thing that I know and the thing that I like. It's like I'm getting diminishing returns each time you do it, and you keep doing it. And Romulus, it really could have been a better movie. Again, it's a good movie. I do recommend seeing it. Maybe try catching this on a matinee. I don't know about seeing this in IMAX. I mean, the space stuff like looked good, but like again, this doesn't feel like. I personally wouldn't like say you need to like see it in the IMAX. Like not some like I don't know, like Kingdom of the Apes or Dune 2 or whatever. But yeah, it's mostly just fine. It's I would say I wasn't bored. I wasn't I didn't hate, and I didn't hate that I watched it. I am glad that I feel like my money was well spent, and that's probably the most I could say about it. It could have been stronger, but it also could have been stronger. It could have been better. And yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'm feeling a strong 5 for Alien Romulus, and as it stands, it's not my favorite. Yeah, it's not my least favorite. Not my least favorite Alien movie, but also like probably kind of fits slightly in the middle. It's fun, but it's also not terribly interesting. Like Alien 3, I think, is a failure, but it's also an interesting failure, I think, which kind of puts it above Romulus in my opinion, at least. But yeah, that's my review. So comment, like, subscribe. What did you think of Romulus? What would you say this ranks in your Alien rankings? which is to say, what do you where do you put this in terms of like in places that aren't first and second? Yeah, that's I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a whole lot more movies to watch, and I hope you keep watching movies too. And I will see you all later.